So the snarky part of me wonders, was she so ill-behaved in these first 15, when did she get there? The 30th, right? 16, 17 days that she was designated to close management? Or is it because of her history? Wellness puzzles. Oh, we know how Sarah loves a good puzzle. Hello, my true crime lovelies. How are you? It's good to see you. Oh, Miss Boone, Miss Boone, Miss Boone. Mm-mm. You guys were blowing up my phone yesterday. Today is January 16th, Thursday. So Wednesday, January 15th, that Sarah got moved to close management. I was torn between close management or close and medium. So here's the clip of where we went over her handbook and these classifications. Programs. Classification. The classification department is divided into teams. It is important that you are aware of the team to which you are assigned, since they will be making recommendations concerning program assignments. Classification team members will ask many questions concerning program assignments, custody, transfers, visitors, work assignments, your background, and current case. You know how you left your boyfriend in the suitcase and it's all our fault, but you forgave us. Your classification officer will be evaluating you overall. Will be evaluating focus, your overall adjustment, and this evaluation will play an important part in the decisions that must be made. You will be expected to participate in any programs to which you are recommended. That doesn't sound like a recommendation. That sounds like you've been voluntold. It is during this time of processing that the decision will be made as to what permanent facility you will be transferred. One of the most common concerns that a newly incarcerated inmate has is about gain time, which won't apply to you because you didn't take that plea deal. Custody assignments. An issue that inmates are usually concerned about is their custody level. Your custody is determined by a number of factors, including length of sentence, forever, criminal history, and history of violence. Massive. Know that. Escape history, and a number of other important factors. Your classification officer will explain your custody in more detail at your classification interview. The following are the current custody classifications. Community. Community custody refers to that, I'm going to start at the bottom because I think maximum. Maximum custody refers to that class of inmates who are under a sentence of death, so not there. Close. Close custody refers to that class of inmates who must be maintained within an armed perimeter or under direct armed supervision when outside of a secure perimeter. Ooh, okay. Medium. Medium custody refers to that class of inmates who are eligible for placement at a work camp, with a secure perimeter, but who are not eligible for placement in an outside work assignment without armed supervision. I feel like medium is going to be Miss Boone's. That's what I thought. Anyway, she got into close management and everyone's like, what is that? What is that? So we kind of went over it in the previous video, but then I found this document that I wanted to share with you guys so we can have all the actual facts, because you know how we like those. Well, at least I do. You must too. Otherwise, why are you here? Why are you here? Okay. Can you guys see that? Let me see if that. Okay. We can see this. This looks good now. So close management definitions. I've highlighted some things. We're not going to read this all. I am going to put a link. I think I can do that to my Dropbox so you can read it at your leisure. But I'm just going to go through some highlights, talk you through some things, like we usually do. So close management, CM, the confinement of an inmate apart from the general population for reasons of security or the order and effective management of the institution, where the inmate through his or her behavior has demonstrated an inability to live in the general population without abusing the rights and privileges of others. Oh my God, some of you guys reached out to me, a lot of you guys, but not all of you. So she got her classification yesterday, she got it yesterday. And She was offline in the morning, but that had something else was going on in the prison. Everything is fine though. So we had the different classifications, with the maximum being those on death penalty. So she went in unclassified, and then yesterday it updated on the DOC website that she was classified as close, and that's what everybody was like pinging me about. So hopefully that's enough context in case you didn't ping me yesterday. All right. And then they have levels. There's levels to this ish. The 3 individual levels, CMI 1, 2, and 3, associated with close management, with CM1 being the most restrictive single hell, it is all hell, the most restrictive single cell housing level. So they're saying of all of the classifications, not just of the 3. That's why I did a double take. So most restrictive single cell housing level, and CM3 being the least restrictive housing level of the 3 CM levels. Individualized Service Plan, ISP, a dynamic written description of problems, goals, and services, which is developed and implemented by the Multidisciplinary Services Team, or MDST, and the inmate. An ISP shall be developed and implemented for each CM inmate who suffers from mental impairment or is at significant risk for developing such impairment as determined by mental health staff. So just as a reminder, Sarah got there at the end of the year last year, right? From jail to prison to the Women's Reception Center in Ocala, which is very near to the Lowell Correction Center, right? They're like a hop, skip, and a jump. Not that anybody there is hopping, skipping, or jumping. Well, they might be trying to jump. So in part of that classification process, she's met with this staff and come up with this. So they've designated that she be in close management, right? And so this is a part of getting in there. Now, there are instances where folks come in, like just say they come in low or medium, and then something happens, then they become assigned to close management. So you'll see this as we go through some of the document. View, where used herein refers to the evaluation of pertinent information or documentation concerning an inmate's close management status to determine if changes or modifications are required or recommended. If they improve, they could be removed from close, or if they are not removed within there, they can change from, like, go down from C3 to C2 or CM3 to CM2, right? Institutional classification team, the team consisting of the warden or assistant warden, classification supervisor, and a chief of security that is responsible for making work, program, housing, and inmate status decisions at a facility, and for making a chief of security that is responsible for making work program, the same thing. So they're just going through the roles and responsibilities here. With the warden, if you want to freeze it and go over it, I'll let you, have at it. And then, so there's an institutional classification team docket, the official record of an ICT hearing. I'm going to see if I can get a copy of that so we can go over what happened. We might not get it because it's got mental health stuff in there, so it might be a HIPAA thing, but I'm going to try. I won't tell myself no. My mama said closed mouth don't get fed. Major rule violation, any assault, battery, or attempted assault or battery. So these are reasons to be classified. Offender-based information system, I just got access to that today. Department's computer offender database, which is utilized to organize and store security classification program and other offender information. I just got to figure out how to use it. I think it sits on like a SQL database or something. I was having problems with it on my Mac. I think I was debating if I should get like a little cheap laptop, like a PC laptop, because there's some things that everything's not made for a Mac, unfortunately. Like my microphone, I can't program it to set on a certain color because the application only works in a PC, even though I double checked to confirm that the mic was PC and Mac compatible. So You guys don't care. Senior correctional officer, state classification, a staff member of the Central Lewd or Lascivious Exhibition. We're going to go. So levels. What are the levels to this? So close management 1 is the most restrictive. We said that. An inmate assigned to CM1 will be ineligible for a work assignment. An inmate may be placed in CM1 without having previously been in CM2 or CM3. So you don't have to graduate. I don't have to start you at 3 and then up you to 2 and then all the way to 1. You could come right on in at 1, which I don't know which one she is. I only looked at what you guys sent me and it just said close management. But when I get into the other database, I'll be able to drill down. So all of these things, I believe, an incident causing death, an act causing injury, participation in a sexual assault or battery. I believe these are all things that are happening within the jail, not necessarily coming in with a murder or sexual assault. I could be wrong. That's how I'm interpreting it. I'll leave you to your own thoughts. Documented leadership in a security threat group. So thanks to our friend, Florida Correctional Officer, we know what an STG is, security threat group, aka gang, because she talked to us about it on Sunday during our live. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link and I'll in the description box. I'll put it in the iCards. Highly, highly recommend. And also, I want to apologize to anybody who was offended about the sexual conversation. I always want to be inclusive. I try to be mindful of that. And so if you were offended, it was not my intention. I apologize. I don't ever want to make anyone feel othered. All are welcome. All are included. So I will be mindful of that going forward, just so you know. Okay. This is for CM2. An act or acts in the community during other periods of confinement or any circumstances associated with the current period of incarceration, such that safety, security, and public safety concerns suggest further review prior to placement in open population. So open and gen pop, I believe, are the same, which is where Sarah would have the most freedom. Obviously, whichever classification she is, like whatever level in close management, it doesn't sound like fun. Yeah. So predatory actions, which make an inmate a threat to others, an act causing injury, an escape or an escape attempt. A lot of you guys in the comments on the handbook video were like, oh, she's going to try to escape. I think so too. A pattern of behavior. I think she'll do a Diane Downs. Don't tell her where your man is because she might show up at his house, girl, on her escape. So acts of violence, threats of violence, contraband trafficking operation. Oh, an operation involving negotiables, escape paraphernalia, other than items listed in sub-paragraph 2A, 2H, or other items that present a threat to safe and secure operation of the institution or facility. And then 3, it's the least restrictive cell housing in close management. We said that. Any of the following factors constitute a basis for placement of an inmate in CM3 status: escape or escape attempt, documented history of escape from a non-secure facility. They're like, you tried it once, but we got you. Assisting or aiding in an escape or an attempt, history of disciplinary action. Okay. Procedures for placement in close management. I didn't read it all. If you want to rewind and pause to read it, please do so. Close management is the confinement of an inmate apart from the general population for reasons of security or the order and effective management of the institution where the inmate, through his or her behavior, has demonstrated an inability to live in the general population without abusing the rights and privileges of others. Okay. So the snarky part of me wonders, was she so ill-behaved in these first 15, when did she get there? The 30th, right? 16, 17 days that she was designated to close management? Or is it because of her history that she's in? We don't know. It doesn't specify here. The secretary shall designate which institutions are authorized to house close management inmates. Close. I don't know why I keep saying close. Close. Like, let's get closer, my dear. But you know what I mean. Close. When an inmate in general population has committed acts that threaten the safety, so we don't know that. The classification officer shall complete section 1 of the report of close management. There's a lot of forms there. And this link will take you to, it'll take you to this document and some other forms that they have to fill out. Prior to docketing an inmate's case for close management review, the classification supervisor will submit a referral to the senior psychologist for evaluation of the inmate utilizing the close management referral assessment form DC 6128. Mental health staff will complete the close management referral assessment within 5 working days of receipt and return it to the classification supervisor. Upon receiving the completed referral, classification supervisor will submit the case for ICT docket. What is ICT? Do you guys know? Let me know. ICT hearing. The ICT shall evaluate the recommendations. We'll look it up if it doesn't tell us in a minute. ICT shall ensure that the inmate was given a minimum of 48 hours to prepare for the review unless waived by completing a waiver. SCO will review the recommendations of the ICT. I feel like it must have been earlier. I'm not going to scroll back. I think we did go over ICT. At any rate, it's some group of people doing some things. Transfer. And I want to call out. So transfers from a non-CM institution. So that leads me to believe that some institutions don't have close management because you require like single cells, et cetera, like for the level 1, right? And so if anybody knows, how do we get a list of which institutions maybe I'll write DOC. How do we get a list of the ones that are CM institutions? Because then we could narrow it down. So if Lowell is a CM institution, then maybe she is going there. If it's not, then we rule that one out, right? Process of elimination. Look at us. Once a CM recommendation is made, ICT will also enter a transfer recommendation in OBIS or OBIS. Inmate will remain in administrative or current confinement status pending review and final decision. So her status has changed. So she's not pending. It's happened. It's done. It's official on their website. So to transfer an inmate in close management status to another close management facility, the following will occur. ICT from the sending institution will recommend the appropriate level of close management based upon the criteria and facts for placements prior to the transfer. Transfer will be limited to those inmates in close management who are being recommended for a close management level that the sending institution is not capable of providing based on institutional mission or close management stratification issues, or B, situations that involve special reviews, inmates with protection or threat reviews involving inmates housed at the same CM facility will be handled with within the CM unit. Situations that require an inmate to be moved to a higher level facility, recommendation by the ICT to transfer a close management inmate will be decided by the SCO. If the transfer recommendation is disapproved, they will provide a written notification. So the facilities. The number of inmates housed in close management cell will not exceed the number of bunks in the cell. No sleeping on the floor, ladies. The only exception to the above paragraph is during an emergency situation as declared by the warden. Water supply to CM units. All close management cells will be equipped with toilet facilities and running water for drinking and other sanitary purposes. Water in the cell can be turned off when necessary due to misbehavior. So if you misbehave and they turn off your water, you are not flushing your toilet. That is that seems cruel and unusual. Like, remember that guy, the family in Florida, the boy in the box, they'd locked him in the garage, they had him going in a bucket. Wasn't that deemed inhumane? Anyway, that's disgusting, even if it's not inhumane. It also includes the intentional misuse of the water for such purposes as throwing it on staff or other inmates, or mixing it with another substance for an unauthorized purpose. Metamucil. Inmate mixes water with soap or shampoo and applies to the floor himself or herself to hinder cell extraction. Oh, you're giving me ideas. So you're all covered in soap so they can't grab you and pull you out? In such event, the inmate will be furnished with an adequate supply of drinking water by other means to prevent dehydration. This action can be taken in addition to formal disciplinary. Prior to Sarah being in her new cell will be thoroughly inspected by the housing officer to ensure it is in proper order. The condition will be documented in the inspection form. Close management cells will be physically separate from other confinement cells whenever possible, given the physical design of the facility. Inmates shall be weighed upon entering close management at least once a week while in close management and upon leaving close management. The weight of the inmate shall be documented on Form DC 6229, Daily Record of Special Housing. So does that mean it's a shoe? And why are they weighing them? In case they're on hunger strike? What do you guys think? So this is about the ISP, which we discussed earlier. Clothing. Inmates in close management shall be provided the same clothing and clothing exchange as the general inmate population unless there are facts to suggest that on an individual basis, exceptions are necessary for the welfare of the inmate or the population unless there are facts to suggest that on an individual basis, exceptions are necessary. Shower slides may be substituted for regular shoes. Any items may be removed from the cell in order to prevent the inmate from inflicting injury to him or herself or to others. Under no circumstances shall an inmate be left without a means to cover herself. Turtle suit, anyone? Bedding and linen. Bedding and linen for inmates in close management shall be issued in exchange the same as in Gen Pop. Any exceptions? We get it. Personal property. Inmates shall be allowed to retain personal property, including stamps, watches, rings. Oh, poor Sarah. She's missing a ring, isn't she? Writing paper, envelopes. No. No writing paper, no envelopes. And health and comfort items unless there is an indication of a security problem. Close management inmates at all levels shall be allowed to possess a Walkman, air quote, type radio with approved headphones, as is allowed. I believe your folks have to send that to you, the Walkman. Or I guess, I don't know if you can buy it from commissary or the canteen. I'm understanding there's some sort of restriction, but I haven't read anything about it, so who knows? If you know, you tell me down below. Tell us all. Comfort items. Inmates in close management shall be permitted personal hygiene items and other medically needed or prescribed items such as eyeglasses, hearing aids, except when security requirements dictate otherwise. Inmates in close management shall not possess any products that contain baby oil, mineral oil, cocoa butter, or alcohol. Okay, Sean Diddy Combs. I wonder if it's because those can be used as weapons. I know Christina talked about mayonnaise being heated up in the microwave and thrown on someone. So any of that, like oil, heating it up, cocoa butter. I don't know about alcohol, but I guess alcohol in your eyes could be detrimental, In the event certain items that inmates in close management are not normally prohibited from possessing are removed, the senior correctional officer shall be notified and must approve the action taken, or the items must be returned. So if something is taken, somebody else has got to sign off on it. So that's good. So there's not like some rogue random correctional officer punishing someone. It's got to be, there's a checks and balances. Not that I'm saying they're rogue or not. We heard about, at least in the Lowell prison, how the COs jumped one of or I guess it's not jumped. They just attacked one of the inmates because she, after cleaning 7 toilets, couldn't clean anymore. Paralyzed her. Anyway, okay. Well, not anyway for her, obviously that's horrible, but just, I'm saying not all of the COs are good eggs. Personal hygiene. At a minimum, each inmate in close management shall shower 3 times per day and on days that the inmate works. Male inmates, we don't care. Hair care shall be the same as that provided to and required of the general population. Inmates, diet and meals. All inmates in close management shall receive normal institutional meals as are available to the general inmate population, except that if any item on the regular menu might create a security problem. What would that be? Hard biscuits? Deadly biscuits at Women's Reception Center unalives 2 inmates. I kid. Canteen items. Inmates in CM 1 and 2 following 30 days in close management status and having no major rule violations during this period will be allowed to make canteen purchases through Canteen order once per week unless restricted by disciplinary action. So if you act up, you are not getting the canteen in this class. I don't know if it's in all of the ones, but I know our Florida correctional officer did tell us they lose a lot of restrictions in the SHU. And this sounds like a form of secured housing. So maybe she'll come back. I have more questions. I don't want to worry her to death, though. If you're seeing this FCO and you want to come back, or if you just want to, if I can email you, that'd be great too. Inmates in CM3 following 30 days and having no major issues will be allowed to make canteen purchases through Canteen once a week unless restricted. Inmates in CM3 will be allowed to purchase up to 5 non-food items and 10 food items. Now, they're the least restrictive classification, right? CM3 is a lower or less restrictive than 1 and 2, but why can they only get 5 non-food items? That makes me think 2 and 1 are getting less, or they should be. In making the determination, with the exception of stamps and notebook paper, it is the number of items that is counted, not the type. So if you get 3 packages of cookies, that's counted as 3. But if you get a pack of stamps, you only count the 1 pack. You don't count the 28 stamps or each page of a notebook, which makes sense. But I guess you gotta. Some of those inmates, I'm sure, are pedantic, so you got to put it in writing. CM inmates who substitute an order for canteen. Oh, wait. Any disciplinary reports received by an inmate in which there is a guilty finding and placement in disciplinary confinement or suspension of canteen privileges between the time that he or she requests canteen foods and the delivery of those items will result in disapproval. So if you order your food or whatever, your items from the canteen, right? You're cleared, 30 days, you didn't have an issue, you're behaving, you're qualified. Then you act a fool after you order them, but they haven't been delivered. It will be canceled. It will be canceled. So they're like, don't get slick if you want to. Religious accommodations, they'll be allowed to participate in religious activities, legal access. So this I thought was interesting. They would have specifically correspondence access with the law library. So it sounds like they can't walk in there, but they're writing to them or putting it on a little tablet or something. And that is how they communicate with the librarians. Access to the law library will be obtained through delivery of research materials to an inmate cell and access to visits with certified inmate law clerks. Oh, inmate law clerk, certified in prison attorney for real, or prison law clerk. Although the inmate may not be represented by an attorney at any administrative hearing under this rule, access to an attorney or aid to that attorney will be granted for legal visits at any reasonable time during normal business hours. Indigent inmates will be provided paper and writing utensils in order to prepare legal papers. Inmates who are not indigent will be allowed to purchase paper and envelopes from the canteen for this purpose. Oh, so if you're broke, they're going to give it to you for the legal papers. Does it count letters to the judge and other legal cases like family court asking for not a friend? Correspondence. Inmates in close management shall have the same opportunity for correspondence. Writing materials, they can only have security pins in this housing unit, which I think is like what we saw Sarah in court. Do I have a pin here? Like just the inside of it. Oh, this is not a good example, but it's a Sharpie. But all the plastic casing was off of her pin. And it was just like the core part. I can't see the cup on my desk. So yeah, I'm grabbing the wrong thing. But you guys know, in the trial, she was not allowed like a full regular pin because it can be a weapon. So reading materials are allowed in close management. I think it's all soft cover books. Exercise. They are to get a minimum of 6 hours per week, 2 hours, 3 days a week of exercise out of doors. They even have, someone will come to your cell for like if you're not allowed out and describe, let me see if I can find that really fast. I just thought it's not like a trainer, but it is exercise. The wellness specialist or the close management officer shall provide the inmate with an in-cell exercise guide and document such on the daily record of special housing. So I don't know if they're like giving them sit-ups. Depending on how big the cell is, you could do a circuit in there, right? Get some cardio in. Exercise is important. At a minimum, wellness services for close management inmates at all levels shall be provided through cell front tutoring, wellness puzzles. Oh, we know how Sarah loves a good puzzle. And the wellness education course. So programs and privileges. Privileges for an inmate assigned are as follows, including participation in available approved programs, including in-cell education opportunities that the inmate can perform within the cell, unless precluded by safety or security concerns. So it sounds like they're in their cell all day, except for if they get to go out for exercise. Even if they have educational opportunities, it's in the cell, which that I don't get how the classes could be so backed up then. Like, okay. Anyway, an inmate who receives services from the Bureau of Braille and Talking Book Library will be allowed to check out 3 books in Braille or on tape per week. They can conduct their bank transactions. Sarah will have none. Well, I guess people will put money on her books and she'll use that. But right now, I think she's still in that phase of not having Canteen. I don't even think she has money on her books yet. I think that I've read it takes a while. So how long is a while? I don't know. All visits will be non-contact visits, so no touching. I think we talked about that before. There are some where you can like hug at the beginning, hug at the end, reach across the table. It sounds like theirs is maybe between glass, which I don't know why you would go. I would just do a video visit, but that's just me. CMI 2 inmates will be eligible to receive 1 2-hour non-contact personal visit by appointment. After completing 30 days in close management status and having no major rule violations during this period. If found guilty, okay, these are all the ways you could lose that privilege. Suspension of privileges, how it works. Work assignments, the decision to make work assignments and the type of assignments made will be determined by the ICT. Inmates shall be provided the opportunity for work assignment consideration as determined by the ICT, except when precluded by doctor's orders for medical reasons. CMI inmates are restricted from all outside cell work activities. Yeah, so they are in the cell. CM2 inmates are only eligible for work assignments on restricted labor squads or in CM1, 2, or death row housing units. Oh, I don't want to be around the people on death row. I don't know how I would look at them without feeling sad and sick and still wanting to hold them accountable. Like, you did what you did, buddy. CM3 inmates are eligible for work assignments either inside or outside the close management unit, including restricted labor squads, work assignments within other close management units, and work assignments usually designated for open population inmates. Why do I feel like restricted labor squads are in there? Like how did they get to be a squad, you know? Outside work assignments shall be performed during daylight hours. So yeah, that's the gist of it. Due to the unique mission of close management units, it is understood that more than one inmate may be out of his or her cell within the unit at any one time. However, when inmates are being escorted in restraints, there shall be one officer with each inmate, and the inmate shall keep at a distance from each other, which would preclude any unauthorized physical contact. Extreme care shall be exercised when escorting restrained inmates in areas where unrestrained inmates are present. Oh, they might act up then, I guess. When possible, unrestrained inmates will be returned to their cells, removed from the wing, or at a minimum closely supervised. Yeah, that seems easier. Because if you think about it, the COs are outnumbered. I mean, God bless them. Contact by staff. So they're going to tour and inspect their units. The ICT members shall review inmates in close management at least once every week for the first 60 days. So this is day 1. Yesterday was 0. When an inmate has not been released to general population and is in any close management status for 6 months, the classification officer shall interview the inmate and shall prepare a formal assessment and evaluation on the report of close management. Such report shall include a brief paragraph detailing the basis for the close management team decision, what has transpired during the 6-month period, and whether the inmate should be released, maintained at the current level, or modified to another level of management. The case shall be forwarded to the classification supervisor. So there we go. It's 13 pages where the records, I highlighted that because I'm going to pull those. A daily record of special housing shall be completed and attached to the current form. So we might get to see what she's doing. We'll see. I don't want to get too excited because like getting documents from each entity, like you have to figure out exactly how that entity wants it, even though it's like within Florida, it's different than the jail. I mean, not surprisingly, but it's just like trying to I've got to now learn their system is what I'm saying. Like I had to learn the lead. I can do it. I'm just telling you. Give me a second. That is it. What do you guys think? I'm a little I guess I always want more information. That's really what it is. Like why is it this genuinely her first? I'm trying to figure out, like, did she do something naughty already and that's why she's there, or is this normal and like within that first 2-3 weeks you get your classification, and she was just her overall picture of her history is part of it. I mean, not that it matters either way. Definitely want to know if she's a 1 or 2 or a 3, though. What do you guys think? Do you think this sounds fair? Should she have been in medium? Should she get to walk around freely? I'm sure she has more restrictions than what she had or what she would have in general population. So any friends that she's made or people that she's connected with will lose access to them because she's going to be in a single cell. And so who knows? I hope they give them some kind of therapy. I just feel like she's definitely going to need mental health support. There's a lot that's happened that she wasn't prepared for. She wasn't prepared to be found guilty. She wasn't prepared to get a life sentence, So who knows? She probably wasn't prepared to be in this. I feel like she's going to around and find out, though, in this if she doesn't behave well, because it sounds like they have a really structured disciplinary plan and it escalates. It's not going to be a lot of like, don't do that again, which is what we saw at jail. But a lot of you guys made the point on that video. It's like a lot of them are not guilty, or they're doing or have not been convicted or are doing a year or less. And so there's no need to like scare the shite out of them, right? But in the prison, you have to keep them in line from day one because like I said, they outnumber them. You don't want to have like a mass, what is that, revolt? Or what is it when a coup? You don't want to have a mass coup, right? And so, welcome home, Sarah, or almost to your forever home. All right. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. I'll talk to you later. Toodles.